Welcome back to the virtual March Madness tournament simulation, everyone. My name is College Sports Revived, and if you haven't seen the first 3 videos of this series, click the link in the description to not get spoiled and get caught up. Everyone gone now? Alright, perfect. So here is where we left things off last time in the series, completing the West region where we saw the defending champs ease their way to the Final Four as Kansas won this region. We also watched what was perhaps the Cinderella story of the entire tournament, Boise State, who is, I believe, 0-5 lifetime in March. They beat UCLA in what might have been the best game of the tournament. UConn was also upended by St. Mary's in the second round, so definitely some surprises and plenty of fun last time around, and we'll see if that continues into what was the craziest region in real life, the East. The Purdue Boilermakers, who are in search of retribution, will tip it off against Fairleigh Dickinson, who technically shouldn't even be here in the round of 64. I'm sure you guys have heard the story at this point. FDU, they did not win their conference championship. That was actually Merrimack who beat them. But FDU did beat them twice in the regular season, and Merrimack still faces that suspension by the NCAA because they came from over from D2, which is dumb at first glance, but I understand why they did it. NCAA doesn't want teams coming over from D2 just to make a quick buck, so I get why there's a penalty for making the transition, but nonetheless, FDU, this is kind of what we expected in real life, 79-42 to get us underway. So Purdue does make amends here in the first round as Zach Edey drops a double-double, 18 points from Jenkins as well, 13 from Brandon Newman. And leading the FDU was Joe Munden, but still an awesome story nonetheless. You got Tobin Anderson, who brought a couple kids over from Stack, a D2 school in New York. It's a great story for sure. Nonetheless, so they'll be facing the winner of either FAU or Memphis, and this was one of the more entertaining games from the first round. I picked Memphis in this one, and obviously you guys in real life saw how that ended up for me. This was a crazy one. It was a late night game, and Memphis made a lot of mistakes near the end of it. They had it in the bag, but then FAU capitalized, and Kendrick Davis missed some big shots at the end of the game, so that sparked the run for the Owls in real life to make it all the way to the Final Four as a 9 seed, and in kind of a similar fashion they win this game. It wasn't as big of a disparity obviously in real life, but near the end of the game FAU pulled away and take this one by 21 points. Brian Greenlee off the bench with 23, Janelle Davis, who had an excellent tournament, who didn't even start for most of the year for FAU, not until around your tournament time. He had also a nice one in this one. And then on the other side of things, Memphis, Kendrick Davis, one of the top scorers in the country, around 23 points per game, only with 6 today, and DeAndre Williams with 13 and 6 to lead Memphis in a very all-around performance. Next up, we have Duke and Oral Roberts, the 5-12 game from the East Regional, and Duke completely stifled the Golden Eagles, who were a top 5 offense in the NCAA this season, only allowing 51 points to them in real life. And let's see if the Golden Eagles want to try to turn the tides here in the virtual tournament. Well, they're at least more competitive this time around. It's only an 8-point game at the half. Duke obviously won the ACC, one of the hotter teams, one of the trendier picks to get to the Final Four in this year's bracket. They're holding on to a slim 4-point lead with under a minute to go, and we're going to hop into our first gameplay of this video. The East region already getting good 3 games in. Mitchell to Jeremy Roach here in the first Duke possession. A tough one there for the Blue Devils, leaving the door open for Max Abmas. Not what you want to do. You got to keep the ball out of his hands, especially on the break. He was the NCAA's leading scorer whenever they knocked off Ohio State a couple years ago. Didn't have to do as much this year because they're more of a well-rounded team. They got Connor Vanover, the 7'5" transfer, that guy right there from Arkansas. So then it would be a free throw game after that. Oral Roberts fouls Duke. They make 2 free throws, and then Vanover gets fouled on a layup. So with 17.7 seconds left, he's got a chance to cut it to 1 and make things very interesting down the stretch. Vanover gets 2 of 2. In real life, he's got a really nice shot as well for a guy that tall. So definitely no surprises there. As this time it's Jeremy Roach heading to the line. Duke's signal caller, the quarterback of the offense, one of the better floor generals in the NCAA, makes the first. 17 seconds to go on the dot, and Roach will get to of 2. So no more timeouts for the Golden Eagles. Last chance today. Max Abmas, if you need a 3, this is the guy to call. 12, 11, over to Kareem Thompson for the tie, and it just rims out. It was halfway down. Oh man, Abmas' face says it all, and Duke will survive the Golden Eagles here in the first round. So the bracket is 2 for 3. They got wrong the FDU game, but now survive with Duke as Jeremy Roach put up 33 here to survive the Golden Eagles attack. Derek Whitehead with 11. Kyle Filipowski, who got a lot better throughout the season, really impressed with his progression in real life, had 8 and 3 blocks. And then for Oral Roberts, Connor Vanover with 14 and Abmas only with 11. I'm surprised he only got 8 shots on the game. So now next up is Kentucky, or rather, excuse me, I'm a game ahead. We got Tennessee and Louisiana, where we see the Volunteers will have Sakai Ziegler. I've talked about it briefly throughout this virtual tournament. The guys who missed real life due to injury are playing here in this one. I didn't remove the guys who were hurt in real life, so they got a chance at redemption, and Sakai Ziegler is one of them. The Tennessee point guard plays, and this time they make quick work of Louisiana. In real life, it was a 3-point win as the Raging Cajuns had a huge run to make things really close at the end and make Tennessee sweat, but Sakai Ziegler, his firepower is more than enough to get things done here in the virtual tournament. 14 for him, Julian Phillips and Tyreek Key. And yeah, so Tennessee will face Duke just like in real life in the next round, and we'll see what happens in the next game, which will be its own matchup as we see the Bryce Hopkins Bowl. That was what a lot of people were calling the 6-11 game. Kentucky against Providence. As you guys all know, the big storyline was Hopkins, who is an ex-Kentucky Wildcat who transferred into Providence after his UK career. Did not really turn out all that well, and he's thrived in the Big East. So we'll see if he gets revenge this time around. Providence was in it all the way through, but a big run before halftime sealed the deal for Kentucky in real life. This time around, it's basically the exact opposite. But don't worry, Kentucky and Calipari, they got an answer. They chip away, slowly yet surely, and will be back within 4 with 2 minutes to go. Let's see if Kentucky can avoid another first round exit. What a layup though. Immediately out of the simulation, it's Devin Carter attacking Oscar Shibwe, and with one of the crazier layups I've seen in this game, gets 2, and that would make it a 6-point game. So here in virtual March Madness land, we do see Kentucky. They go out in the first round yet again, just like they did last year. 75-68 is the final. So Providence will be moving on to the next round to face the winner of either KSU or Montana State. How about 17 off the bench for Allen Reed? It was the bench who made all the difference for Providence in this one. They had such a well-rounded attack, as Hopkins only had 7 and 6, but got the job done nonetheless. And Oscar Shibwe with a very Shibwe level stat line: 17, 11, 3, and a steal. Although 1 for 7 from 3, the guy who made these rosters, which I give a lot of credit for this guy, but some of the tendencies are a little off for these players. So that's the only gripe I have with the roster, but very thankful, because if it wasn't for whoever made this roster, I would not be able to do this series. So next up, KSU versus Montana State. We get to see my boy Marquise Noel go to battle, and it is Montana State well within reach. Only down by 5 at the half as Kansas State tries to pull away, but Montana State from the Big Sky, they're making it hard. And with under 2 minutes to go, they're only down by 5 with the possession. And as you can see, the court is fairly Dickinson's court. With all these custom teams, sometimes the jerseys and the courts get mixed up and mixed around. I think it's just a glitch, so sometimes I gotta change it, but I'm just going to roll with it for this game as Desi Sills makes his way into the paint, kicks it out to Keontae Johnson. That'll be the dagger in this one. So Montana State, the Bobcats make it interesting all the way through, really, but it's just the Kansas State Wildcats, just too much for them to handle. What a story this year for the Wildcats. Picked last in the Big 12, Jerome Tang comes in. He brings in Marquise Noel, the transfer from Arkansas Little Rock, and then Keontae Johnson from Florida, who had that crazy story of his. Great to see him be able to get cleared by doctors and to finally play after his heart issues. And yeah, and they also played one of the greatest games you'll ever see against Michigan State in real life. Speaking of which, we'll see if Michigan State can make it all the way back to the Sweet 16, as they're well ready to go here in the first round against USC and Drew Peterson, one of the better scorers in the NCAA. Well, unfortunately, Drew Peterson and his Trojans and Boogie Ellis, they are not doing too good of a job here in the first half. Down by 21 at the break, and then the Spartans from then on out can just cruise 77-51. So Tom Izzo, who's always so tough in March, he gets this one under his belt, no problem. AJ Hogard and Madi Sissoko both had 17 apiece. I definitely took Tom Izzo in this one. I had this one correct. I had them all going all the way to the Sweet 16. I did have the KSU Michigan State game, but I did have Michigan State going to the Elite Eight. So unfortunately, that's the end of what I got right on the bottom half of this bracket in real life. But Marquette and Vermont will round things out, where we saw the Golden Eagles beat the Catamounts by 17 in real life. We'll see if the Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek, can do the same here in the virtual March Madness tournament. Shaka Smart's group, though, only up by 6 on the Catamounts. And time's ticking down here. And as it gets closer to the end of the game, the Catamounts continue to get stronger. They were just up by 9, but Marquette scratches their way back into this one. Only down by 1 on defense, but it's Matt Violetto for 2 there, as he remains perfect from the field on the game. He's been one of the best players out on the floor. Vermont's become a powerhouse in the America East Conference. It seems like every year they win it, as Kolek will hit 2 to equalize what Violetto just did. But yeah, man, Vermont, they're becoming a perennial tournament participant, as here comes Duncan off a screen for 3. It's off, and it's collected by David Joplin. So Marquette back on the offensive attack. Over to Kolek in the corner for 3. Marquette with the lead now. The bad shot there taken by Duncan led to the runouts. And unfortunately, the rotations just couldn't get to the Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek. So 58-56 now. Vermont can still tie it with a basket. This could be just as good, as Duncan takes it to the rack and gets fouled. So the Catamounts looking for the tie, and Duncan will knock down 2 for 2. So 58 apiece. 37 seconds left to go. You got the Big East Player of the Year. You got the NCAA Coach of the Year in Shaka Smart. But Marquette, perhaps their season on the line here with 16 seconds to go. We dwindled it down a little bit after some empty possessions. So inside, inbound to Tyler Kolek, 16 to go. Will he be a decoy, or will he be the guy that Marquette puts their season in the hands of? Under 10 to go now. The Golden Eagles got to get moving. Kolek looks for the screen. Nope. Over to Joplin. That'll take the lead. Marquette looks like they're going to survive. So it did appear to be a decoy role that Kolek played there on the last possession. David Joplin, who's a very quality player as well, hits the 3 that sends Marquette into the second round. So no 2-15 upset this time. We already had one of those in the first episode of this series, where Princeton replicated real life and knocked off Arizona. But Tyler Kolek and company will move on to play Michigan State just like in real life. He had 16 and 2 steals. We'll see if the Golden Eagles can make up for lost time and try to right their wrongs here and beat Michigan State this time around. Violetto with 8 of 8 shooting to lead the Catamounts in a tough loss. So now on to the second round, where Purdue and FAU will now tango. I did have Memphis beating Purdue in my bracket here, but this is uncharted territory for the Boilermakers, as obviously losing that round of 64 game in real life to FAU. Let's see if they can make amends and try to make the run that we all thought they would, or most of us did at least. Well, it's a neck and neck game with 2 minutes approaching on the game clock. The Owls tie things up here with 59 to go, so more exciting basketball here as Brian Greenlee will find a teammate. This is Elijah Martin, who had an awesome tournament all the way through for the Owls, but it's Zach Edey towing in. The Boilermakers trying to prove people wrong here in the virtual tournament. I'm surprised they're this competitive with FAU. The reason why they lost in real life to FDU was because the lack of athleticism in the backcourt. And obviously, FAU's got a lot of that. It's Newman for the lead, no good. So both offenses ice cold here down the stretch. But yeah, that's the reason why they lost to FAU in real life, in my opinion. The guards just couldn't keep up. It's going back door. Fletcher Lawyer, his brother Foster, plays for Davidson. He gets beat on the backdoor cut by Nick Lloyd. So now FAU's got a chance to take the lead, and they do. So the front end of the two shots goes as Vladislav Golden checks in for perhaps a defensive punch there. As make or miss, they got to get the stop. It's missed short by Nick Boyd, but it goes right into the hands of Giancarlo Rosado. What a huge offensive rebound. And Rosado's got a chance to make it a three-point game and completely turn the tides on Purdue's offensive strategy. He makes 2 of 2, so now Purdue, instead of playing for the win, if they could just get a basket, they got to go for the 3. It's Brandon Newman, again, missing. So Purdue kind of chokes this game away a little bit here at the end, and FAU will make a Sweet 16 here in the tournament as well. Let's see if they can get as far as they did in real life. Can FAU get all the way to the Final Four? Well, that'd be kind of wild. What are the odds, right? Janelle Davis, 16, 2 steals. He's making an early conversation of being on one of the players on the All-Region team. That's something we've been doing in every region so far, just like in real life. David Jenkins with 29 in this one, but nobody else in double digits, as Zach Edey only managed 1 field goal. Now, you could really tell that one pass they threw to him in this game, they were defending him by just clogging the paint. Very similar to what FDU did in real life. So FAU uses the night strategy to beat Purdue, and they're on to the Sweet 16 to face one of these two teams, either Tennessee or Duke. This was a bit of a slog in real life. It wasn't until near the end of the game where Tennessee finally started to get their offense moving. One of the teams finally. And here in the virtual tournament, it'll be a 50-50 game, or rather 30-30 game at halftime. But kind of emulating real life a little bit. Look at this. The offenses go ice cold here down the stretch, and it would be 45-41. This has been the lowest scoring game of the entire tournament. We know Tennessee a little bit. They have a fun team to watch, but there's times where they just get into these slog fests and they try to outgrind their team. This is a good place to start, though, as Tyreek Key beats Tyrese Proctor off the dribble. So 2 free throws here for the Vols to potentially make it a 6-point game, and both free throws would go. So it does appear to be a 6-point deficit for Duke. They got to find some way to score some points here. Under a minute to go. Filipowski, he grabs the screen for Roach. He's coming off that 33-point game. It's Proctor who can't hit the open 3. Duke needed that as Tyrese Key for the knockout punch bricks it badly. That kind of shows you what the offensive strategies and production have been like here in the second half. A lot of bad jump shooting here, resulting in this 47-41 game we got right now. 24 to go. Roach will try it again. Again, the Blue Devils can't hit. So Tennessee outgrinds the Blue Devils in an ugly one, but sometimes you got to win ugly. 56-51 is the final score. Duke was one of my Final Four teams in real life. I actually took the trendy pick and had them winning the East just because they were so hot at the end of the year winning the ACC. But just like in real life, they lose. And just like in real life, Tennessee will face FAU in the Sweet 16. Pretty crazy that the virtual tournament's been that spot on so far here in the East. Now we got Kansas State and Providence. In real life, Kentucky and Kansas State here in this round of 32 game. They went back and forth a lot. The Wildcats won by 6, but this time around they were up by 7 at the half. The Wildcats were, but as time ticks down, Providence will hop in here after a 15-2 run to take us down to only a minute 11 to go. So a huge run here in the final minutes, and the twilight of this game has Providence with the lead after Kansas State has pretty much led the entire way up to this point. So 60 to 55, a minute to go. Desi Sills, the lefty for three. They really needed that one, but it's off. Ed Crosswell grabs the miss and finds Devin Carter, who's been excellent so far here in the tournament. Providence would make a free throw, and with 40 seconds to go, it's pretty much now or never. Inbound to Marquise Noel, my guy from New York, and around the perimeter inside at the block. It's Desi Sills missing again and forcing it. He's cold down the stretch, and he basically shoots the Wildcats out of it. And this free throw right here from Devin Carter would be too much for Kansas State to handle, so we might have a bit of a Cinderella story here as well, as the Friars hold on thanks to Bynum's 18 and Carter's 17. But even without those two guys, everyone's stepping up for the Friars, and that's been the main reason why they haven't been able to be stopped yet. Marquise Noel with a nice game, almost a triple-double there for the 5'7" Queens native. But yeah, Providence, just all hands on deck, both the starters and the bench all playing well, and Providence will face the winner in the Sweet 16 of this game, Marquette and Michigan State, where we saw Marquette get really sloppy in real life in the second half, and Michigan State took this one by 9. This time around, though, Izzo and his Spartans find themselves down 15 as Shaka Smart trying to outduel him this time, and the Golden Eagles put it on cruise control in the second half. They throttle the Spartans 91 to 57, wire to wire here, and to make amends for what they did in real life. Olivier Maxence Prosper, 21-13, 2 blocks, and one of the best performances of the entire tournament. Cam Jones 19, Kolek with 12, all the way through top to bottom. Great performances here for all the Marquette players who checked in. And for the Spartans, some tough percentages to look at for AJ Holgard and Atkins. So now on to the Sweet 16, the regional final on the line. First things first, we got Tennessee and FAU. This is going to be a good one, just like it was in real life, hopefully, as FAU shooting the lights out of the ball, 45 to 33 at the half. So the Owls offense continues to lead the way for them here in March, but a huge run by the Vols. They take the lead momentarily, but then under 2 minutes to go, the Owls trying to pull away. We've seen a lot of late games turn into blowouts thanks to teams pulling away, but this would not be the case in this one. We check in and already some action. Shot clock dwindling. The Owls can't knock it down to extend their 3-point lead, but they get it back. Giancarlo Rosado, another offensive rebound grabbed as Elijah Martin gives it back to him, and he will miss the layup though inside. Point blank, he couldn't hit it. That's a huge missed opportunity there, as going inside, Rosado gets dunked on. Great find there by Zagai Ziegler. So the Vols, instead of being down by 5 potentially, they're only down by 1 thanks to a little bit of luck there with that missed layup. 71 to 70 now. The inbound to Janelle Davis, who's one of the craftier guards in the entire field. The Gary, Indiana native finds Boyd for 3. He misses, but it's Vladislav Golden with a huge tip in. You gotta love that second effort. The Eastern European goes up high and just gives it a chance, not even looking at the rim, and he was pretty far out there too. Normally tip-ins you see, they're right near the cup. No, not this time. Golden just with some incredible touch, and FAU with a 3-point lead now. So Tennessee, their season on the line, can pretty much kiss this one goodbye if they can't score here. Vescovi dribbling the ball. He gets a screen. He's a threat from 3. They got to step up on him. No, he'll take it to the baseline. It's off. Pulled down by Giancarlo Rosado. And it looks like the Owls will make it to the Elite 8 once again. They do need a free throw here by Rosado to make it 2 possessions, but it's 2 shots here, so he just needs 1. The first one well short, though. We're now starting to get deeper and deeper in this tournament. Perhaps some tired legs out there, as that one was well short. Rosado misses his chance to make it 2 possessions. 7 seconds to go. Phillips to Triple J for the tie, and he got it. Josiah, Jordan, James, Triple J for the triple to tie. Oh my goodness, what a game. And take a look at who is closing out on this one, Giancarlo Rosado. I would not want to be in his shoes right now between the missed layup there, the missed free throws getting dunked on, and now the game-tying threes on your head. I would want to just become invisible if I was him on this stage right now. Boom. Let's see if he can make up for it. Here's the inbounder with 3 seconds to go. The FAU Owls inbound. Boyd back to Rosado. And this one was halfway down, but it rims out. So we will be going to overtime. Let's see if FAU can hold on, but it's going to be tough to do that after relinquishing that late lead. So we'll take a couple seconds off the clock. We're going at a snail's pace to be able to jump right back in. 80-80, 1:22 on the game clock. We'll check in with Janelle Davis for 3. He's more of a mid-range guy and a paint guy, so that one's off. As Santiago Vescovi tries to put on the cross, gets into the lane, but a little bit too strong for number 25. Now approaching a minute to go. Handoff to Davis yet again. He's covered closely by Sakai Ziegler. Get the screen there by Rosado. Mid-range, you can basically say goodnight. Yep, that's Chanel Davis's game right there. Such a savvy guard from Gary, Indiana. And he had a great tournament in real life. He's just so shifty and so creative. 48 seconds to go now. The Owls with the lead. Santiago Vescovi wants the 2. He'll dish it off, but he gives it to the rollman in a bad area. So 8 seconds to go now. They got to reset. Ziegler wants the screen from Phillips. He'll get in the lane. Kicking it out for 3 again. The Vols hit again. They're up by 1. Vols lead with 30 seconds to go. Thanks to the craftiness of Ziegler. Somehow he threads the needle and has the vision and awareness to find his teammate in the left corner. And this one was nothing but nets. Vols on top. Look, I know that UCLA Boise State game last episode was a tough game to top, but I think this one is making a pretty good case for itself. 30 seconds flats. FAU has the ball. Let's see if we're going to see yet another lead change here in the twilight of this game. Janelle Davis, free throw line extended. He drives by Vescovi, finds Vladislav Golden, and he's fouled. Vladislav Golden, great job having soft hands to hold on to that pass. And now he's got the chance to potentially be the hero. FAU with those 2 huge missed free throws at the end of regulation, trying to make up for it. And he gets the first one. 83-83. Golden. He's got the chance to be the big man on campus. He got it. 84-83. Timeout, Tennessee. Their last of the ball game. Plenty of time to go. Plenty of time for Vescovi and friends. 15 seconds to go. Vescovi out on the perimeter. 10 seconds to go. What does Rick Barnes have drawn up for his team? 9 seconds. 6 seconds. They got to get going. 4 seconds. Vescovi. 3. Off the screen. It's a good look, but it's off. And the Vols fall short to FAU, who return to the Elite Eight, 1 win away from making it back to the Final Four. I think this was game of the tournament. 5 guys in double figures for FAU with Brian Greenlee leading the way. What a game this one was. One thing you can say for sure though, the team that made it out of this Owls and Vols bloodbath, they are going to be battle tested moving forward and going to be a very scary team. And just because if you survive a game like this, then you are ready to play anybody for sure. And we're going to have an all Big East Sweet 16 on the other side of the bracket between Providence and Marquette. Whoever wins this game, they got to be scared to face FAU or whoever was going to play, whoever made it out of that game. So Providence, the 11 seed against Marquette, the 2 seed. The Golden Eagles are coming off that blowout win over Michigan State, but now they find themselves in trouble. Look at this right here. Providence with a 20-point lead, and it doesn't change moving forward. Providence holds on by 12, and they will move on to the Elite Eight. So it'll be a 9 versus 11 seed Elite Eight, something that's only happened once ever before, as Devin Carter yet again drops in 19, Floyd off the bench with 12. Like I've been saying, it's just been all hands on deck for the Friars all tournament long, and that's really been setting themselves apart from the opposition. And maybe we should have expected the Friars to win, because obviously with this being a conference game, we have some prior games to read off of. And the Golden Eagles, they went 17-3 in the Big East Conference, but one of those losses was to Providence. So the Friars have done it before, and the 11 seed Friars and the 9 seed Owls will face each other here in the regional final. This was the craziest bracket in real life, and it's become the craziest bracket here in the virtual tournament as well. Here we go. FAU against Providence. We're going to have one crazy team in the Final Four. We got 2 1 seeds and a 3 seed. Well, it's either going to be a 9 and 11. This only ever happened once before, a 9 and 11 facing each other. And it was back in 2018 when Loyola Chicago beat Kansas State to make the Final Four in their crazy run with Sister Jean and all that. So we'll see if Providence can make it 2-0 all time for the 11 seeds against the 9s, and they've had the lead for most of the game so far, but the Owls making a bucket here to go up by 4, not only up by 2, as the lead is kind of going back and forth here. It's a bit of a tug-of-war match here, but we'll check in here with 1:22 left to go. Finally a regional final game that we can finally hop into and actually have a bit of a crazy ending. Hopefully. The Elite Eight games so far in this tournament have been kind of disappointing, but not this one, which is just so fitting with how awesome this East region has been so far. So Devin Carter, he'll stop and pop for the 3. What a shot there, as both defenders went under the screen, and Devin Carter, who's been probably the best player on a very good Friars team, he makes the 3 and takes the lead for Providence. The 11 seed trying to sniff the Final Four. I believe only one 11 seed has ever made the Final Four before, or maybe 2, as this one's off the mark, so FAU misses again. I think it's 2. George Mason and VCU in 2011. I think those are the 2 11 seeds to ever do it. Devin Carter this time is rejected by Golden. 30 seconds to go for the Owls. Still plenty of time. Elijah Martin trying to play bully ball to tie the game, and it's off. Big rebound by Ed Crosswell. So Providence has the lead and the ball. They make one free throw to make it a 4-point game. So we'll see what FAU's got. They got to go quick here with Rosado as the inbounder. Here we go. 25 to go. Rosado, he's scanning, and he finds Golden. High post. It's Davis who gets double teamed. He'll hit it off to Nick Boyd and somehow finds a layup there from the low block. He kisses it off the glass. So with 19 seconds to go, it's not panicking time yet for FAU. We've seen some missed free throws here in this tournament that have changed the landscape of games, but I don't know. Jared Bynum is a pretty good free throw shooter. So we'll see what he's got. Bynum for the first one. It's good. Final Four on the line. What a regional final this has been. 3-point game. Providence trying to make it a 2-possession one, and he gets it. Despite the timing being slightly late and the percentage only being 56, it's good as gold, and FAU with no timeouts left. They're going to try the 3 with Janelle Davis. It's off, and the Friars will hold on. Your East Region champions, it'll be the Friars of Providence, the 11th seed. What a Cinderella story. And they're going to be your oddball. They're going to be America's darling next episode in the Final Four. We have a 1 seed. We have another 1 seed. We have a 3 seed. And we got the 11 seed Providence Friars from the Big East that will be taking on the 3 seed Baylor in the Final Four in the next episode. Noah Locke this time with the big game, 17-5. That's what I'm saying. You just never know who's going to be the guy for Providence. On top of that, the bench played great again. Clifton Moore with 9 and 6 off the bench. Let's see if that continues in the Final Four, because if they continue to play all hands on deck basketball like this, it's going to be hard to stop them, even being a 3 seed. Janelle Davis, Elijah Martin, and Vladislav Golden with all double-digit games today. So the bracket is all done all the way through the Final Four. We're going to have Baylor and Providence, the first game of next episode, and then Houston and Kansas, and then we're also going to be playing the national championship in that episode as well. So this is how the bracket looks. We see Purdue go out in the second round, Providence as a Cinderella story. And yeah, this one was a crazy one. And here's your all-region team. You got Jeremy Roach on here, who had that 33-point game in round 1. Janelle Davis, who helped his Owls get to the Elite Eight, almost replicating what they did in real life. You got Devin Carter from Providence, who had 15 points per game on their Final Four run. Can't wait to see them play Baylor next episode. David Jenkins Jr. from Purdue, who had 23 points per game between the 2 games they played in the tournament. And then Olivier Maxence Prosper from Marquette, who averaged nearly a double-double to make first team All-East region. So that'll be the end of the episode today, guys. We made it through the first 4 regions, completed the entire bracket up until the Final Four. The next episode, we're going to have the Final Four and the National Championships. Going to be very exciting. Can't wait to see if Providence can continue its run or if a 1 seed on the other side of the bracket will take the championship. So we'll see, guys. Can't wait for that episode. Hope you stay tuned for it. I'm excited to make it. I'm College Sports Survived, and I'm signing out tonight. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you guys later.